Imagine holding a tool that doesn't just capture a moment but actually anticipates it before it happens. For the last decade, photographers and videographers have been forced into a painful binary choice. You could carry a lightning-fast sports camera that sacrificed resolution, or a high-end, high-resolution beast that would chug and overheat the moment the action became truly intense. You either traded speed for detail or detail for reliability. You were constantly praying that your autofocus wouldn't fail at the critical split second, or that your sensor wouldn't turn your high ISO images into a noisy, muddy mess. That era of compromise is officially dead. Nikon has dropped a bomb on the camera industry, and it completely rewrites the rules of the mirrorless game. This isn't just a minor firmware update or a safe, iterative refresh. This is a total declaration of independence for the modern creator, and it is going to fundamentally change the way you shoot. At the absolute heart of this revolution is Nikon's brand new processing engine, the EXPEED. Don't mistake this for a standard chip designed merely to shuffle data from point A to point B. This is an AI-driven, predictive powerhouse. It doesn't just manage data, it anticipates it. When you pair this processor with the new dual-stream stack sensor, you aren't just looking at a higher megapixel count. You are witnessing an unprecedented leap in data bandwidth. The sensor feeds the processor so aggressively that it creates a pre-capture buffer that feels effectively infinite. Think about what that actually means for your daily workflow. You are no longer tethered to the old grind of waiting for your camera to finish clearing its buffer to the memory card. The camera isn't waiting for the hardware. The camera is waiting for you. It is waiting for you to decide which specific split-second frame is worth keeping. This completely shifts the psychology of how you work. You can finally abandon the spray and pray mentality, the desperate hope that if you take 500 photos, one of them might actually be in focus. You can move toward a mindset of surgical precision. You are hunting for the perfect frame, moving with the absolute certainty that your hardware will never be the bottleneck between your eye and the final result. It turns the act of shooting from a gamble into an intentional, masterful performance. You aren't just taking photos anymore, you are choreographing reality. But a brilliant brain is only as good as the body that carries it. A camera is useless if it is a fragile toy that breaks under the slightest pressure, or a heavy, cumbersome brick that leaves your wrist throbbing halfway through a wedding day. This is where most other camera brands have failed us for years. They force you to choose between something you can actually carry and something that can actually survive. Nikon took a completely different path. They designed a chassis using a proprietary magnesium-carbon alloy that feels like a paradox in your hand. It is incredibly light, almost weightless, yet the moment you grip it, it feels as solid and indestructible as a weapon. The weather sealing here isn't just a marketing bullet point designed to withstand a light drizzle. This is true professional-grade shielding, tested in the kind of brutal, unforgiving environments that would fry the electronics of a standard mirrorless body in seconds. Think about a blinding desert dust storm, where fine grit usually finds its way into every dial and seam. Think about a torrential, humid downpour in the deep tropics where moisture is the enemy of every circuit board. With this system, the delicate internal electronics remain entirely encased in a vacuum-like environment. You aren't just buying a camera, you are buying an insurance policy for your gear. You can walk into the heart of a storm with absolute confidence, knowing that the only thing you need to worry about is the framing, not the survival of your equipment. And then, there is the performance under fire. If you thought the photo specs were industry-leading, the video capabilities are where this camera truly begins to make the competition sweat. We are looking at internal 12-bit RAW video at frame rates that were previously considered impossible at this resolution. But Nikon didn't just chase big, flashy numbers to look good on a spec sheet. They focused heavily on the one thing that ruins a pro's day: thermal management. Most cameras in this class will force you to take cool-down breaks, ruining the flow of an interview or a cinematic take. Nikon changed that by utilizing a revolutionary new heat dissipation architecture inspired by the thermal dynamics used in satellite technology. This system moves heat away from the sensor so efficiently that the camera runs cool, even during grueling, extended 8K recording sessions. There are no thermal throttles, no random shutdowns, and no forced breaks while your client waits around and your momentum evaporates. It is a pure, unadulterated workhorse designed specifically for the modern creator who views their camera not as a piece of tech, but as a literal extension of their own arm. The brilliance of this system isn't just in the hardware you hold, it's in how the camera talks to the world around it. Let's talk about the ecosystem. A lot of critics will tell you that the camera industry is full of marketing fluff, and they aren't entirely wrong. We have been burned before. But the true shift here isn't just about a faster burst rate or a sharper screen. It is the fact that Nikon has fully opened its software development kit, SDK, to third-party developers. This is a seismic shift in how you should view your investment. In the past, when you bought a camera, you were buying a finished product that would slowly age and become obsolete the moment a newer model was announced. By opening the SDK, Nikon is turning this camera into a living, evolving platform. This means that long after you bring the camera home, it will continue to get smarter. Through future firmware updates and independent developer tools, that built-in AI coprocessor will learn new tasks, adapt to evolving lighting conditions, and potentially unlock performance modes that we haven't even dreamed of yet. You aren't just buying a box of circuits. You are buying into a system that stays deeply relevant year after year. Then, there is the engineering genius of the Z mount itself. When Nikon first unveiled this massive, wide-diameter mount, critics everywhere complained that it was overkill. Now, the genius behind that design is blindingly obvious. That massive diameter allows light rays to hit the outermost edges of the sensor perfectly straight. This isn't just a technical spec. It eliminates the dark corners and vignetting that plague other systems, delivering perfect sharpness from the center all the way to the absolute edge of the frame. The system leverages the pure physics of that giant mount to create a symbiotic relationship between your lens glass and the sensor. The result is an almost three-dimensional quality to your images. You don't just look at a flat picture on a screen. You feel the depth, the rich texture, and the raw, tangible reality of the moment you captured. It makes your existing lens collection look better than it ever has before because the camera is finally extracting every ounce of data the glass is capable of providing. Let's be completely honest about where we stand. This camera is not for everyone. It is built for the creator who is tired of the empty promises and the endless cycle of good enough gear. It is for the person who realizes their equipment is the only thing standing between them and their ultimate creative vision. If you have been sitting on the fence, waiting for a sign that the industry has finally caught up to your ambition, this is it. The old hierarchy has been toppled. The safe choices of yesterday are now the obsolete choices of today. You have a clear path ahead. You can stay in the past, or you can step into the future of what is truly possible. This is the moment where the industry finally gave us what we demanded. There are no more excuses. You now have total control over your art. The Z7 III isn't just a camera. It is a masterpiece of engineering, and it is my absolute top recommendation for anyone who is serious about their craft. I cannot wait to see what you create with it. We are entering a brand new era, and you are the one holding the pen. If you liked the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon to stay ahead of the curve.